Hey YouTube, it's Kier. Okay, so y'all remember that last video that I just did? Well, apparently, even though I have the exact same internet connection, because I'm in the exact same house, it's going to take this something like 3.5 hours to upload. So, I'm trying to figure out a way around that, and, yeah, while I work on that, I'm gonna make another video. Swear to God. There have been a few of my friends who have made videos recently about cyberbullying, and cyberbullying in general, cyberbullying in the witchy community, all, different aspects of it. And cyberbullying is a very real thing, and it affects people in very negative ways, obviously. And the younger or more vulnerable I think a person is, the harder it affects them. But it's not something to be taken lightly. But my friends have done such a good job so far on the topic that I really don't feel like I need to add any more to what they've already said. Like, we all know that cyberbullying exists within the witchy community. Sometimes it comes from people of other religions. Sometimes it comes from fellow witches. It just depends on the situation. It's something that we've seen quite a bit of lately. But I kind of wanted to put another take on it, I guess. And I wanted to talk about cyberbullying as it applies to authors, especially self-published authors, although there have been some well-known authors who have taken the brunt of it as well. I don't know how many of you have Anne Rice on your friends list on Facebook, but she talks about this a lot because she's been the target of it on and off for a very, very long time. But it seems like it got much worse after she announced that she was leaving the Catholic Church. I do know that there was a period of time when she wrote Christ the Lord, the first book, that her original fans were also getting pretty fucking guilty of it as well. But it seems to have been, it picked up a lot over the past few years. But she is by no means the only author who has put up with this shit. The chick who wrote 50 Shades of Grey, now, me personally, I tried to read that book once, the first one, and the writing was so fucking bad. I think I've talked about this before. The writing was just atrocious. I couldn't do it. But the people who have targeted her are not targeting her because of her writing style. They're targeting her, which this is usually the case from what I've seen, because of her subject matter. And these people will go fucking above and beyond, like, slamming you. They will go to trying to tear down your very career. And you may not think that negative reviews, especially very cruel negative reviews, would have much of an impact on sales and things like that, but it really does, especially for self-published authors. I haven't really experienced a lot of cyberbullying because of being a witch, but I have gone through this at one point because of my book Castles Made of Sand. I had this guy, his name was Brian Miller. I'll never forget this douchebag. I first self-published back in 2011, and this was, I want to say, about 3 months after I first self-published the book. And I hadn't written Beauty and the Beast yet. That one wasn't out. I just had Castles Made of Sand. Well, this guy writes me on Facebook, and he's like, "Hey, I just bought your book. I intend to leave a review." And I'm like, "Okay, great. I hope you like it." Whatever. And that's not altogether unusual. I actually have a few friends on Facebook right now that I met because they read my stuff, and we were talking about it and that kind of thing. So, I didn't think anything of it. Well, then he's sitting there and he's writing me these messages, and he's talking about how, hippies are scum, and about how they were communist bastards, and, this very biased sort of point of view. And I'm going, well, if you feel that way, why the hell would you buy a book that very clearly states in the description what it's about, But I'm going along with it, and I'm, just talking to the guy. And then there's no way he could have gotten even halfway through that book to have said the shit that he said in the review. It was clearly somebody who did not read that entire book. And that would have been cool if he would have just said that. And, you know, at this time, like I said, I had only been in this game for a couple of months, and I didn't know that there were people out there that would target you because of the subject matter that you wrote about, and then fucking just tear you to shreds for absolutely no reason, except they didn't like what you wrote your book about. And, he writes this review, and the entire review was absolute bullshit. I mean, I've had, you know, not great reviews before. It happens, you know, not everybody is going to like the shit that you put out, and that's something that, yeah, at first, when you first start receiving reviews in general, that first bad review will be like, oh my god, they just ripped your fucking heart out. But, as long as it's written from a point of view of, I did not like this book, this is why I did not like this book, that sort of thing, you generally tend to get over it. That is not what this guy was doing. This guy was sitting there making up bold-faced fucking lies about my book. And, you know, I didn't know how to handle it. My initial response was, fuck this shit. I'm gonna put his fucking emails on here and I'm gonna call him out on this. And, I don't think that actually did any good whatsoever. That is what I did. I think you can still see the review, actually, on Amazon to this day. I don't think it did any good, and I think it kind of probably made me look like an asshole who couldn't take bad reviews, but the situation really fucking pissed me off, because, again, if it would have been an honest bad review, that happens. This was not honest, in the slightest. And then I start looking into this dude, and I'm looking at his Facebook page, and I'm seeing the kind of shit that he's posted. And then, at that time, I don't know if it's still like this, but back then, you could look at other books that a person had reviewed and see, you know, the reviews that they wrote and the stars they gave them and all that shit. Well, I'm looking through these reviews, and anything related to Christianity, right-wing, propaganda bullshit, that sort of, you know, extreme right-wing conservative point of view, he's giving 4 and 5 stars to and praising the hell out of it and talking about how wonderful it is. Whereas anything anything related to hippies, activists, Black Panthers, I think he had a book on there that he had reviewed about Black Panthers where he showed his racist, ignorant ass and, you know, showed how fucking little he actually knew about what the fuck he was talking about. But yeah, anything like that, he gave 1-star reviews and ripped them to shreds, and I can only assume that the reviews were bullshit, just like it was with my book. And the thing that really got me, and I don't know why, because it's such a small detail compared with all of the bullshit he wrote, but he said something about how, in my book, it's nothing but propaganda bullshit because more people in my book died from the Vietnam Wars and the people that died of heroin overdoses and all these characters were on heroin. And that right there told me that this man clearly did not fucking read not even half of the book, or he would have known that was absolute bullshit. I think Liz has the first dude that is dating Julie. There's like three people, I believe, that die as a result of the Vietnam War. And there were much more than that died of heroin overdoses, I assure you. But, I mean, it was just ludicrous shit. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, you know, he's just a fucking nut job. Once I calmed down, once I breathed, once the fucking rage subsided, I'm like, alright, he's just a fucking nutbag nut job douchebag. Well, as it turns out, this is actually not an uncommon thing at all. A lot of people who write gay romances, a lot of people who write books about transgender people, a lot of people who write books related to witches, witchcraft, anything like that, who are self-published, and probably well-known as well, I don't know. A lot of people who write certain topics seem to have people that just go for them and go straight for the jugular. I know that back a few months ago, Anne Rice had posted about this one woman who was self-published, and she had actually written on her blog that she was done. She could not take it anymore, and she would not be releasing another book because there was this group of bullies that got together and just decided to target the hell out of her. I'm not sure what their fucking motive was, and they were just ripping her to shreds, and they were saying not, shit just related to her book, but they were saying shit like, why don't you fucking kill yourself, all kinds of crazy shit. And once it gets to that point, we're going above and beyond a fucking literary review. There is actually a group that Anne Rice has posted about numerous times that tries to stop, they call them the Goodreads and Amazon bullies. And I don't know how effective that is, because Amazon will sit there and, like I said before with me, I have friends on my Facebook friends list whom I met because of my work, and they sent me a friend request and we got to talking, that sort of thing. Well, now Amazon is doing this thing where if you are friends with somebody on Facebook or anywhere else on the internet, they will not allow that person to post a review of your work. Now, it kills me. They'll sit there and they will go to that much trouble to get an honest review, but they will let these people who have been reported and complained about over and over and over again slide by with their bullshit. I just don't get it. It's like the fucking Facebook name policy. I just don't get where the fuck their heads are at. But I think that cyberbullying is definitely something that hits many different communities, and we tend to see a lot of it here on YouTube, but it is not just YouTube that it affects at all. And these people, they're fucking, I don't even know. Some of them seem downright sociopathic. Some of them seem like they just have nothing fucking better to do. I have noticed that the bullies on the internet are the exact opposite of bullies you see in real life, in the sense that bullies in real life, generally speaking, if somebody confronts them, then they knock their shit off. Like, basically, they're fucking pussies, or at least in my experience, this is what I've seen throughout my lifetime. Bullies in real life are absolute fucking pussies, and once somebody stands up to them, they shut the fuck up and back the fuck down. Bullies on the internet, on the other hand, are fed by that. The more that you fucking engage in their psychosis, the worse it gets, and the more that that's egged on, and the more that they just keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. And I've also noticed that they seem to be doing this thing where they travel in packs. Like, go figure. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk about that as it relates to self-published authors and things like that. And to kind of put it out there, especially for those of you who are already aware of cyberbullying in general and how serious it is, that every bad review you read may not be legit. Generally speaking, you can read biased information. Like, you can read what a person is saying, and you can see, well, this is legitimately a bad review, they obviously didn't like it. Or, wait a fucking minute, this dude just told this chick to go kill herself, obviously this is about more than the book. And, it's really important, especially with self-published authors, because, yes, I am sure that authors that are big time are every bit as hurt by it emotionally and all that shit as us little guys are. But when it comes to their credibility being on the line, there isn't as much, I don't think, at stake for them as there is for us, because the self-published author literally fucking lives and dies by reviews. I mean, you don't get anywhere at all being a self-published author without reviews. That's just the way that it is. So if you piss off the wrong person or rub the wrong person the wrong fucking way, and they get 10 of their closest friends together and you only had 10 reviews to begin with, you now end up with a 1 or 2 star rating, and people are going to ignore your fucking work. I mean, not everybody's like that. I pay more attention to descriptions than I do to reviews, but a lot of people are the exact opposite. So, yeah, it's just, cyberbullying is absolute bullshit, and it affects a lot of different communities on here. And it's just a thing where I feel like people that see their friends being bullied, or see people in their own creative community being bullied, or what have you, we need to stick up for those people and just be like, hey, we're here for you. We know that this is bullshit. Sometimes it seems like that's the only option left to you. But the worst thing that you can do is change your opinion of somebody based on what a bully says. Be that a personal thing where somebody is running their mouth about somebody on YouTube, or a professional thing where somebody's saying absolutely terrible shit about somebody on Amazon. So, yeah, we just we gotta be, I don't know, smarter than the bullies, I guess. I don't know how to say that. We gotta kind of think for ourselves and not really listen so much to what we're seeing when it's obviously 100% negative. I mean, you see it on YouTube videos for very popular artists too. It's the sort of thing where it's like it goes the same way almost with music on YouTube as it does with writers on Amazon. It's like, if you hate that person's work so much, why in the fuck did you just take 5 minutes out of your goddamn life to come on here and write this great big long comment about how bad they suck on their fucking YouTube video? I mean, and I'm sure that there are also individuals who have channels that go through the same thing. In fact, I know there are. It's one of those things where it doesn't make any logical sense, and the best thing we can do as friends or audience members or fans or whatever is to just not buy any bullshit and to support the people who are being bullied when we know that, the shit being said about this kind of shit. So, that's my take on that. Kind of a different perspective. If you want other perspectives, Brenda Crozier posted a video about it. Cheryl Coyote did a really good video about it, and I'm sure there are others on here as well, but I will post those links. If this motherfucker ever uploads, I will post those links in the description box for y'all. So, I hope y'all are having a beautiful week, and I hope y'all remember to smile.